Hi, this is Munson with Munson Music, and we're going to talk about how you can play a song called Time Is Running Out by Muse. And it's going to start with a really cool bass lick where you play open A, and then third fret on the A, and then open A, and another open A, and then third fret on the A, and then open A. So we're going A, C, A, C, A, and then we go to second fret on the A, and then play open A, and then second fret on the A, and then open D, and then first fret on the D, and then open E or low open E, and then second fret on the D, and then open E twice, and then second fret on the D, and then open E, and then we go first fret on the low E twice, and then third fret on the A string, and then first fret on the low E, and then we kind of slide that to third fret on the low E, and then play another 3, and then another 5 on the A, and then back to 3 on the low E. So we got O, 3, O, O, 3, O, 2, O, 2, O, 1, O, 2, O, O, 2, O, 1, 1, 3, 1, 3, 3, 5, 3. And the notes you're actually kind of playing is going A, C, A, C, A, B, D sharp, E, F, C, F, G, A, D, G. But I think that could be a really cool way to kind of kick off the tune. But all of those licks are kind of working around and implying some chords. And the first chord that's kind of getting implied by the A and the C note is an A minor chord. And the way you play A minor, first finger is going to go to the B string on the first fret, second finger on the D string on the second fret, and third finger on the G string on the second fret. And if you strum all those together, that sounds like A minor chord, and it sounds really, really sad. And then from the A minor, the B and the D note are kind of implying a B minor chord. And the way you play B minor, and we'll talk about a really easy way to do this in a moment, but if you know the bar B minor, you do first finger over the second fret, second finger on the B on the third fret, third finger on the D on the fourth fret, and the pinky on the G string on the fourth fret. And if you strum all those together, that sounds a B minor chord, and it sounds really, really sad. But if you're just starting out and you want to kind of avoid the bars, actually, you can make some smaller B minors. So you could take the top strings and kind of make a smaller version of the chord. So you take first finger and go high on the second fret, second finger on the B string on the third fret, and third finger on the G string on the fourth fret. And if you strum the top 3 or even the top 4 strings, that's still a B minor chord. And if you're a little bit more adventurous, you could take the third finger and go to the D string on the fourth fret, pinky on the G string on the fourth fret, and kind of strum the top 4 chords with that, making it a little bit thicker B minor. Or if you want to avoid the bars and kind of go with the substitute, there's a good substitute called B minor 7 for that chord, where you could go first finger on the A on the second fret, second finger on the G string on the second fret, and third finger on the high E on the second fret. And if you strum the A string and the high E string, that's called a B minor 7. So you can substitute that for a chord too, so that's some B minor options. And then from the B minor, we're going to be going to an E major chord. And when you play E major, first finger is going to go to the G string on the first fret, second finger is going to go to the A string on the second fret, third finger on the D string on the second fret. And if you strum all those together, that sounds like E major chord, and it sounds really, really happy. And then from the E major, we're going to be going to an F major. And if you know the bar F major, we'll talk about an easy substitute in a minute, but if you know the bar F major, you do your first finger over the whole first fret, second finger goes to the G string on the second fret, third finger on the A string on the third fret, and the pinky on the D string on the third fret. And if you strum all those together, that sounds like F major chord. But if you're just starting out or just want to kind of avoid the bar chords, a good substitute for that is something called F major 7. And when you play F major 7, first finger is going to go to the B on the first fret, second finger on the G string on the second fret, third finger on the D string on the third fret. And if you strum the D, G, and B, kind of the skinny 4 strings, that sounds like F major 7. It sounds really, really happy. And then from the F major 7, we're going to be going to a G major chord. And when you play G major, first finger is going to go to the A string on the second fret, second finger is going to go to low E on the third fret, and the third finger is the high E on the third fret. And if you strum all those together, that sounds like a G major chord. So for our intro and our verse, we got kind of A minor, B minor, E major, F major, G major. But a lot of times what I like to do is kind of add a strum pattern to a song like this to kind of make it more interesting. And one of my favorite strum patterns for a 4/4 like this is down, down, up, up, down, up. So we took the A minor and just tried that a lot. We'd have down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. So we tried that through our verse intro progression. The weird thing is that F and G at the very end are kind of halved. And one way to kind of half them is just kind of doing a down, down, up on each of those chords. So they don't last quite as long as the other ones. So on the F, you've got kind of down, down, up, and then G with a down, down, up. chords, we can use that whole strum pattern. So we got A minor down, down, up, down, B minor down, down, up, down, B major down, down, up, down, F down, down, G down, down, A minor down, down, up, down, B minor down, down, up, down, E down, down, up, down, F down, down, G down, down, A minor down, down, up, down, B minor down, down, up, down, E down, down, up, down, F down, down, G down, down. And there's this really cool lick that kind of comes in around that, kind of a keyboard part, but it kind of becomes a guitar part later, where you can play the open E, and then first fret on the B, second fret on the G, and then fourth fret on the B string, and then first fret on the B string, and then second fret on the G string, and then first fret on the G string, and then open B string, and then open E, and then first fret on the high E, and then third fret on the B string, and then open B. So you're kind of going E note, C note, A note, D sharp, C note, A note, G sharp note, open B, open E, first fret's a F, and then a D, B. So that could be a cool thing to kind of add in too. And then we're basically repeating that until we get to our pre-chorus part. And our pre-chorus, where we kind of start on the F, and then we go to G major, and then we go to A minor, and then we go back to the G major, and then we do F major, and then G major, and then we do an A minor, and at the very end of our pre-chorus we go to a C major chord. And the way you play C major, first finger is going to kind of stay on the B string first fret, second finger on the D string on the second fret, and third finger is going to go to the A string on the third fret. And if you strum all those together, that sounds a C major chord. It sounds really, really happy. So we tried our chord progression through our pre-chorus that way. We'd have F down, up, down, G down, down, up, down, A minor down, down, up, down, G down, down, up, down, F down, down, up, down, G down, down, up, down, A minor down, down, up, down, C down, down, up, down. Now because of the feel of the pre-chorus though, there are a couple things that you can do instead of the down, down, up too, because it almost sounds like there's kind of just a repeated down, like kind of 8 downs on each chord. And one thing you could do to kind of accentuate that and make it kind of sound really cool, creepy, is you could take the flat of your right hand and kind of put it down on top of the saddle. And if you were thinking just 8 downs on each of the chords with the muting, that could be a really cool way to kind of try and work it through that part. And something else you could do actually is, instead of doing the whole chords, like we're kind of doing the whole chord of each one, sometimes it can sound really powerful to kind of substitute in something called power chords. And what a power chord is where you play the root and just the fifth of a chord. And these can sound really, really powerful, which is why they're called power chords. So instead of the F major, you could play something called F5. And the way you play F5, first finger is going to go to the low E on the first fret, third finger on the A string on the third fret, and if you strum the E and the A strings and just kind of keep just those two together, that's another way you could kind of work the F, is just as an F5 power chord. It sounds really, really powerful. And then instead of the G major, you could use a G5 power chord. And the way you play G5 is we're going to take that shape and slide it to third and fifth frets. And then instead of the A minor chord, you may want to try and use an A5 power chord. So you took that same shape and moved it over to fifth and seventh fret on the low E and A. That's something called A5 as a power chord. So you got first finger on the low E on the fifth, third finger on the A on the seventh. And then something else, instead of the C major, you could try using a C5 power chord. And one way to play that chord is to take that shape and kind of slide it all the way up to 8th and 10th frets. So now I got first finger on the 8 on the low E, third finger on the A string on the 10. And so if you tried that with the muting quality, you'd have kind of the F, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, G, A, G, F, G, A, C. So that might be something else you want to kind of try and kind of build up into your chorus part. And then when we get to the chorus part, we're really just kind of mixing up a lot of things that we already talked about. And you could do this part with the power chords too, or you could try it with just the down, down, up, down, up. So we try it with the down, down, up, down, up. You got F, down, up, down, G, down, down, up, down, A minor, down, down, up, down, C, down, down, up, down, F, down, down, up, down, G, down, down, up, down, A minor, down, down, up, down, up. And then we could do that lick that we kind of had from the beginning, that 1, 1, 3, 1, 3, 3, 5, 3 lick that we kind kind of tailed our intro lick with, which is actually around the F5 and the G5 power chord. You're kind of doing an arpeggio or breaking up an F5 and then breaking up the G5. Or you could kind of half your F and G. So you can do just the F with a down, down, and G with a down, down. So that would be another way you can kind of work it. But if you kind of like that, you could actually jump out of the A minor into that 1, 1, 3, 1, 3, 3, 5, 3, which could be very, very cool. And then from there, we're going to be going back into our intro and our verse progression. So one other thing that I like to add to a song like this too is instead of doing the whole down, down, up, on that first down that you're doing, you can add in what's called a bass note for the chord. So for instance, on the A minor, the A string is kind of your bass note for that chord. So you can do the A bass down, up, down, A minor with an A bass down, up, down, A minor with an A bass down, up, down. And then on your B minor chord, you'd have an A string for the bass on that one. Or if you're doing one of the smaller ones, you may have to kind of fade down the G string. If we're on the E major, then we have the low E string for our bass on the low E. And when we get to the F, if you're doing the bar F, you have the low E string for your bass, down, up, down, up, the low E bass, down, up, down. And when you get to your G chord, you have the low E string for your bass. And then when we get to it, the C major would have kind of an A string bass. So if we try that through our verse, we'd have the A minor with an A bass, down, down, B minor with an A bass, down, bass down, up, down, and when you get to your F and G, we're just gonna have enough time to kind of do a bass down up on those, or you could jump into the lick. So you could do the 1, 1, 3, 1, 3, 3, 5, 3, or you could do the kind of the F with a bass down, G with low E bass down, up. So we kept that going with the down, down, up, down. We'd have an A minor with an A bass down, up, down, B minor with an A bass down, up, down, E with low E bass down, up, down, F with the bass down, G with low E bass down, A minor with an A bass down, up, down, B minor with an A bass down, up, down, U with low E bass down, up, down, F with the bass down, G with low E bass down, and we basically be repeating that until we get to our pre-chorus. When we get to our pre-chorus, and we tried the pre-chorus with our basses, we'd have the F with the bass down, up, down, G with low E bass down, up, down, A minor with an A bass down, up, down, G with low E bass down, up, down, F with the bass down, up, down, G with low E bass down, up, down, A minor with an A bass down, up, down, C with an A bass down, up, down, and then we'd be on our chorus. So we tried our chorus that way. We'd have F with the bass down, up, down, G with low E bass down, up, down, A minor with an A bass down, up, down, C with an A bass down, up, down, F with the bass down, up, down, G with low E bass down, up, down, A minor with an A bass down, up, down, C with an A bass down, up, down, and then we go into our bridge part. And on our bridge part, actually, we go to a D minor chord. And when you play D minor, first finger is going to go to the high E on the first fret, second finger on the G string on the third fret, and third finger on the B string on the third fret. And if you show them just the D, G, B, and E, you have the skinny 4 strings. Now you get your clear sound with that, and that's called D minor. And on our bridge part, we're actually kind of going between the D minor and the A minor 3 times, and then kind of ending up on an E major. So we tried that with our down, down, up, up. We'd have D minor, down, up, down, A minor, down, up, down, D minor, down, up, down, A minor, down, up, down, D minor, down, up, down, A minor, down, up, down, E major, down, up, down, E major, down, up, and then we'd be going back into our verse chorus. But if we tried that bridge with our bass notes, then we have D minor would have a D bass, and then A minor would have an A bass. So we got D minor with a B bass, down, up, down, A minor with an A bass, down, up, down, D minor with a B bass, down, up, down, A minor with an A bass, down, up, down, U with low E bass, down, up, down, U with low E bass, down, up, down, and then from our bridge we'd be going back into our verse part. So we'd be adding the A minor, down, down, B minor, down, 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 B, down, 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 G, down, down, A minor, down, 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 B minor, down, 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 E major, down, 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 G, down, down. Or if you're trying that with the basses, then you got the A minor with an A bass, down, down, B minor with an A bass, down, down, E with low E bass, down, down, F with the bass, down, G with low E bass, down, A minor with an A bass, down, down, B minor with an A bass, down, down, E with low E bass, down, down, F with the bass, down, G with low E bass, down. Now as an aside, if you wanted to, you could actually throw in a couple more power chords and work that as a power chord theme. So for instance, we talked about the F5 and the G5. for the end part, like an A5. Actually, we were talking about that for our pre-chorus too. And what we need is a B minor or B5 power chord. So if you took that shape that we were doing and did it first finger on the low E on the 7 and third finger on the A string on the 9, if you strum the E and the A strings together, that makes a B5 power chord. So you can use that for your Bs. And if we took that shape and kind of shifted strings to the first finger on the A on the 7th fret, third finger on the D on the 9th fret, then you could kind of strum the E, A, and D strings and make a really big, powerful E5 power chord. So for instance, the weird part is that last F and G that we were halving in the strum pattern, you just do 4 downs on each of those. Or you could throw in that lick that we were doing. So if you tried it that way, you'd have A5, B5, might be something else you want to kind of try. And then from there we'd be going into our pre-chorus. So if we tried that with our bass notes, we'd have the F with the bass down, up, down, G with low E bass down, up, down, A minor with the A bass down, up, down, G with low E bass down, down, up with the bass down, up, down, G with low E bass down, up, down, A minor with the A bass down, down, C with the A bass down, down, and then we'd be going back to our chorus parts. Then we have the F with the bass down, down, G with low E bass down, down, A on the A bass down, down, C with an A bass down, down, up with the bass down, down, G with low E bass down, down, A on the A bass down, down, C with an A bass down, down, and then at the end we actually go to a bridge return where we go back to the D minor down, down, A on the A bass down, down, D minor the D bass down, down, A on the A bass down, down, D minor the D bass down, down, A on the A bass down, down, E major low E bass down, down, E with low E bass down, down, and then from there we'd be going into our outro, which is kind of like our verse, but at the very, very end we kind of do an A minor with 2 downs, and then a C with a down, and then do A minor again with a down. So we got A minor, C, A minor, my bad, and then we do the down kill it thing is what I'm kind of doing on that last A minor. I'm kind of killing, playing the strings and kind of killing them. So if we tried that from the verse, you have the A minor with the A bass down, down, B minor with the A bass down, down, U with low E bass down, down, B with the bass down, G with low E bass down, A minor down, C, A minor. Or if you want to, you could work that with the power chords. You could have the A5, B5, E5. A, C, A, and kind of work it that way too. But that's the basics of how you could strum through Time Is Running Out by Muse. So good luck!